Hi there, welcome to No Nonsense Whiskey. My name's VinPF, and on today's episode we've got something that I consider to be quite exciting. Now this here is the first release of the In the Welsh Wind from their own distillery bottlings, their own make, their new make spirit, whatever. This is theirs. Now I'll say at the top of the show as well, they sent me this bottle, so massive thank you to them. But you guys will know if you've been watching my channel for any length of time, I'm a massive advocate of this distillery since the first time I dropped in on them about 3 years ago, and then a year later I bought a cask as well. So, you know, again, if you've been following the channel, you'll know I've got a cask of theirs that I've bought myself, maturing away. That should be ready next year sometime, and hopefully you've seen some of the other videos that I've done of these guys, including one distillery visit and when I actually filled my cask as well. So go and check out those if you like. And of course I've covered their independent bottling stuff as well with McMira. So these guys have been busy, they've been really busy, but now, as I said, forget the independent stuff. They've now got their own whiskey produced by them. Now there's a couple of key things you'll need to know about this. Obviously the words on the front are, you know, In the Welsh Wind, and it's a single malt whiskey on the back, but this is finished in Palo Cortado casks, so you're going to need to know that before you want to make a purchase. Unfortunately, this does seem to be sold out already. It was an initial run of 673 bottles, so yeah, it's already gone. But so I'm going to give you my thoughts on it. Hopefully you got a bottle if you're interested, but otherwise hopefully you'll just enjoy my comments on it. And as always with these things, getting In the Welsh Wind on your radar, because they're a very, very small distillery, and I think, having visited them, met the people, really love the people there, and they're a distillery that needs to be on your radar. So yeah, okay, let's have a look at this bottle then and see what we've actually got. 48%, it's 3.5 years old. Now that half is important, as my 3-year-old will tell you, but 3.5 years old, and it's finished in Palo Cortado casks. So here's where it gets interesting. So if you know anything about In the Welsh Wind, if you've watched my videos, you'll know that they're purveyors of the ice still, and that's kind of what got my interest in them in the first place, because I'm, as an engineer, technician, whatever, in my day job, I am exceptionally interested in the ice still as an engineering piece. And obviously you're never going to get ice still in Scotland because they're not allowed to do that. So I was looking for people who are going to have ice still liquid out at some point. In the Welsh Wind is one of them. Spirit of Birmingham is another, so they're going to be having their release probably next year as well. This, however, is not ice still. So this is two times 600 litre pot still. So quite, you know, small pot stills. I'm not sure about, they didn't want to give me any information about why they put that out, but I imagine that it's obviously the oldest liquid they've got for a start, and they were probably messing around at the start trying to find their way with whiskey and see what's what. So they probably thought this was now a good time to chuck this in another cask and see what's what. It's 5 months matured in Palo Cortado cask. I'm not sure if that's a single cask or what. That's, you know, with 600 bottles odd, maybe 1 or 2 casks, possibly. But I do know that the initial makeup run was casks ranging between 25 litres and 100 litres. So these are small casks, you know, obviously normal casks are quite large. So these are small casks. We've got a little bit of rapid aging going on there as well. Palo Cortado then, going on full information on this one here. I'm not really a sherry guy, so I don't know a hell of a lot about sherry, but what I do know about Palo Cortado is that this is a sherry that's been aged under a film of yeast, and that was destined to be Fino or Amontillado, which is, you know, pretty cool. However, I think I've read on Wikipedia it's like 1 or 2% of all grapes crushed for sherry finds its way to be Palo Cortado, because out of some random phenomenon, that layer of yeast just disappears sometimes, and they can't make it into a Fino and Amontillado anymore. That makes it a Palo Cortado. So they basically don't ever set out to make a Palo Cortado. They just, some of it ends up being that, and they want to sell it. It tastes good apparently, and there we go. That's pretty much all the information I've got for you for this bottle, apart from the fact that it's obviously all sold out. It was 95 quid, and we'll go into that a little bit later after the tasting. So yeah, let's have a look at it and see what we got. Nice decent colour for 3.5 years. You know, legs and stuff all checking out, all things that we like. Let's get onto the nose and see what we got. Now for me, it's got huge pear drop notes to it. Bags of honey. There's some ground coffee in there. Almost like a little bit of kind of dark chocolate as well, very bitter dark chocolate that's kind of giving me mocha vibes almost with that coffee. It's quite, sometimes with youthful whiskey I'll talk about kind of like a maltiness or a hayiness, but it's definitely more grainy, which is hard to convey on camera, but you'll just have to trust me on that. It's quite complex and deep, but it's a nice nose. Let's get onto the palate and see what we got there. Okay, quite a lot to unpick on this. It's a big old palate. There's loads going on. It starts off quite nutty for me. Pecans up front, bags of cinnamon, bags of more honey. The pear drops have disappeared off for a little bit for me from the nose. I get a kind of like a funky marzipan note on the back end, which more nuttiness, I guess. Almonds and all of that. There's just a lot going on, which is really cool. I like that. It's nice to unpick it. I was talking on live stream this week about relaxing drams, challenging drams, interesting drams, that sort of thing. This is definitely what I would call a challenging dram in a good way. It's one of those ones where it commands your attention. You want to unpick it and you want to kind of go through it. And I reckon you'd get a different tasting note every time you tried this. I'm just below the shoulder, so obviously when this comes down to bottle kill time, when I do my whiskey in, whiskey out, I hope maybe it will have changed as it goes along. But for me, I mean, it's super funky, super interesting. Not like any other whiskey I've tried before, but that's exactly what I would expect from these guys. They literally have maverick distillers on here, so I would expect them to be breaking the mold and trying out new things, new flavour profiles, and their base spirit, their new make spirit, which I reviewed on one of my previous videos, is like super funky. That was I think that might have been an ice still one, so not a direct comparison to this, but still in that same vein, super funky, super nutty, super interesting. So I'm really glad that I've got this and opened it, and it's really cool to see Welsh whiskey being up and coming. I think this might be the 6th. We were talking about this the other day about the 6th Welsh distillery that's finally come online and is selling their own whiskey. So congratulations to them, because that's massive. A few of the other ones seem to have gone under the radar a little bit, because I think most people probably can only name a couple. But yeah, huge congratulations to them. I'm a big fan of In the Welsh Wind, and I'm going to continue advocating them on the channel for sure, following their new releases with interest, and hopefully next year my release as well. So make sure you keep in touch with the channel if you're interested in that. That'll go on sale to patrons first and then Discord after. So I severely doubt it'll even make it to the light of day in terms of public. So yeah, the best place to go is Discord, which of course there is links in the description below. I'll include a link to this as well, but as I said, that's now sold out. You'd have to go to the distillery to get it. And unfortunately, I think as a closing comment, I think that most people will probably keep it closed, especially at the start. It didn't sell out day one. It took a little bit of time to sell out, which is a good sign, because that means that probably the secondary market is not going to go nuts over this thing. And I hope it does to a certain extent for them, but from a consumer point of view, I hope it doesn't, because then, what I don't want is the flippers to kind of make money off of this, because this should be opened and enjoyed by people who are fans of the distillery, which I think probably largely most people who bought it are fans of the distillery. There's a nice little community around this distillery that that people that go there and meet the people and try the liquid, they fall in love with it straight away. That's all I can say about that. If you're ever over in that far out way, which I am every year, then do go and check them out, because they're doing fantastic stuff. Okay, that's my review of the first release from In the Welsh Wind. Again, massive congratulations to them, and do let me know in the comments below if you've tried this, bought it, are interested in it, and it's now on your radar. Would love to have a little chat about it below. But in any case, I'll see you again on more videos coming soon. Cheers.